Welcome to Basics on the Personal Statement. This presentation is a collaboration between the Career Center, Pre-Law Advising Services, and the Writers Workshop. At first, it may seem that writing a personal statement is a simple task. After all, it's a document about you. However, it can be tough to decide what you should share in a personal statement that will strengthen the rest of your application. This presentation will offer some points for how you may want to get started. In this presentation, we will cover the following topics. What is the purpose of the personal statement? How to start the personal statement? Process for writing the personal statement? General do's and don'ts? And additional resources. Let's start with discussing the purpose of the personal statement. The personal statement has a context. It is a part of your application for graduate or professional school. Therefore, you should think about how what you write fits with the other parts of your application. How do you see all of the experiences, classes, and other activities you have done, and how can you describe those parts of your application in a story? The personal statement is your story of how you've gotten to this point and how you would like to convince others to move you closer to your goal. Other factors on your application, such as GPA or test scores, are easier to compare among applicants. It's much harder to compare stories, so the personal statement can help you stand out among all the other qualified candidates if you think about who you are and express that well. A common question that students ask is, who will read my personal statement? Or do admissions people really read them at all? Admissions committees do read personal statements. In fact, some admissions people read the personal statement first because they want to know how you communicate your interests, so take it seriously. The personal statement should be about you. So how do you talk about yourself in this document? As mentioned in the previous slide, the personal statement is a part of your entire application. Anyone who reads this statement needs to know that you are a qualified applicant with strong preparation. Don't just say that you are a qualified and strong candidate. Include examples of your best traits. Consider what information to include that highlights how you have prepared and what qualities make you a great candidate. You need to use your judgment here. You do want the reader to know who you are as a person, but what you share has to stay relevant to the goal, and the goal is to have a statement that moves you forward in the application process. Share your personality in a way that relates to your application and make sure that you provide evidence. What can you do to get started? Now is a good time to update your resume or list of activities. Choose the activities from your list that most closely relate to your educational and career goals. If you are applying for graduate school, your research skills are important. Your part-time jobs or leadership experiences may relate to your goals, so don't ignore them. You may also want to do a personal inventory. Answering the questions on the personal inventory, found on the Writers Workshop website, will help you focus on the skills that make you unique. We'll discuss a few of these questions on the next slide. Here are a few personal inventory questions to help you start your personal statement. What attracts you to your chosen career? How has this interest developed? Think about your decision to pursue your chosen career. What sparked your interest? A teacher, a course you took, an experience as a child? Since graduate school is demanding, the committee wants to know you have the determination to complete your studies. A short discussion of the reasons for your choice can convince them of your drive and passion. What experiences have prepared you for graduate or professional school? What have you already done that has prepared you for your career and for graduate studies? A volunteer experience, lab work in college, a summer job or internship, a large research project? This is a crucial part of your personal statement because it shows that you know the field and have proven yourself prepared for the rigors of graduate school. How does graduate or professional school pertain to your specific career plans? How will graduate school lead to the career path you see for yourself? Of course, in some cases, graduate school will simply give you a credential required by your field. But think about the variety of ways people use the degree that you seek, the different ways lawyers or doctors practice, for instance. There is a tricky balance here. Do you want to appear open to various subspecialties, or do you want to be focused on one path? Have you chosen this school because of its reputation in a certain direction? These are good questions to review with an advisor. After you've thought about your own stories, here's how you can start tackling a specific prompt. First, read the prompt carefully. It will give you a sense of what the admissions committee wants to see in applicants. If there are multiple questions in the prompt, list them to create an outline of your essay. Next, research the program. Your research into the school will reveal the emphasis of their program and the kind of student they are looking for. It's especially valuable to compare school websites. You want your statement to show that you understand the school and will fit into their expectations. Now refer to your personal inventory and list of activities to decide what to emphasize. Focus on only 2 or 3. Ask yourself which experiences demonstrate your interest and motivation. Which have taught you about yourself or your chosen field? You may have to leave out some experiences, and that's okay. They are on your transcript and your resume. Now it's time to write. Using the prompt and your chosen experiences, develop a plan or outline for your essay. Write a draft. Start writing without thinking about the word limit. Tell the stories of your experiences, but focus on how each one relates to your goals. When you have a draft, pull themes from what you have written. Look at each paragraph and write its topic in the margin. Does each topic fit into your original plan? The next steps will overlap. Revise. Take your essay to an advisor, a professor, or the writer's workshop. Continue to revise and proofread your statement. Now that we've discussed the writing process, let's turn to some do's and don'ts to help you polish your personal statement. Do consider how your reader will view what you have written. Remember to consider your audience and reflect on what he or she might be looking for in an applicant, or what he or she might interpret either positively or negatively from what you've written. Do write your story. One of the biggest challenges with personal statements is making it sound authentic. Remember, your goal is also to relate your personal experience back to why this makes you a stronger candidate. You should think about not only what has been significant in your life, but why that experience motivates you. Do have others provide feedback on your statement. It can be very helpful to share your essay with someone whose opinion you value, who is able to give you a different perspective. It's important to consider the background and experience of the people you ask for feedback. For example, your mother may be too biased, and your best friend may have no idea what admissions deans are looking for in an essay. Good sources for feedback include advisors, because they have training and lots of experience helping students with personal statements. One of the reasons an advisor can be so helpful is because she has reviewed so many personal statements that she has a good gauge on the applicant pool, so she can tell you if your essay blends in with the crowd or pops out to the reader. Faculty, because they have extensive experience writing and publishing professional pieces. Just make sure that the faculty member understands the admissions process of the program to which you are applying. After all, you would not expect an engineering professor to have expertise on the admissions process for medical school. If you are applying to a PhD program, you will definitely want to have a faculty member review your statement. People who are familiar with the admissions process. This could include family or friends who work in admissions, or people who are currently in the program to which you are applying. Note, professionals in the field may or may not be good resources, depending on how long ago they applied. For example, a doctor or a lawyer who applied 10 years ago, or maybe even 5 years ago, may not have a sense of how competitive the applicant pool is now, and they shouldn't be expected to understand all of the changes that have taken place in the admission process over time. Make sure that at least one member of your feedback team is very familiar with current admissions practices and trends. Now let's get a sense of what you should not do in a personal statement. Don't read lots of other personal statements, because you are not writing someone else's story. Reading lots of essays generally discourages applicants who begin to feel that their story will not measure up to the essays about bringing water to a village in Sudan or negotiating a peace treaty in a war-torn country. Spending time reading other people's essays gets you no closer to writing your authentic story. Don't listen to all of the advice you get. We just recommended that you get feedback, and now we're suggesting that you ignore it? Yes. The point of getting feedback is to consider your essay from various perspectives and to get confirmation that you are providing relevant information to an admissions committee. It is your job to filter through that advice, consider whether the advice works for your piece, and then apply it or not to create your best essay. Don't use the statement as a soapbox. Sometimes when candidates select a topic that they feel passionately about, the essay becomes a piece about the topic itself. Remember that this statement is not intended to persuade the reader that your faith, your opinion, or your philosophy is the correct one. Your focus should instead remain on why that faith, opinion, or philosophy is important to you and how it makes you a better candidate. That way, it doesn't matter if the reader agrees with your perspective. It matters whether the reader can see why your perspective makes you a good candidate for their program. Don't over-edit. You should expect to edit the essay multiple times to achieve a polished and clear result. However, sometimes it's important to know when to stop. If the point of your essay is becoming diluted or the personal element begins to fade, your essay will lose the feeling of authenticity. It should sound like you, a version of you on your best and most professional behavior. Some essay topics that applicants select may be difficult to talk about, or even controversial. How should you deal with touchy topics? Spend some time considering, what aspects of your identity do you want to share at this stage? Your goal is to strike a balance between being authentic and making sure that your essay provides relevant information about your candidacy in a professional tone. Here are some considerations about touchy topics. Does this topic contribute to your preparation or qualifications? In other words, why are you sharing this information? If you cannot relate the information back to why it makes you a better candidate, you may be better off selecting a different topic. Remember that this is not an opportunity to persuade the reader that your opinion is the right one, nor is it a piece challenging your philosophy. Understand that you are opening a door because you cannot control how the reader will react to this topic, and different readers will have differing reactions. What limits do you have, or do you want to have, on this information? Additional resources abound right here on campus. The Writers' Workshop, www.cws.illinois.edu/workshop. Visit the Writers' Workshop for assistance drafting your essay. They offer both workshops and individual appointments about the personal statement writing process. Pre-Law Advising Services, www.prelaw.illinois.edu. If your personal statement is for law school, Pre-Law Advising Services offers multiple personal statement workshops each semester that are specific to the law school admissions process. They also offer individual personal statement critique appointments. The Career Center, www.careercenter.illinois.edu. If your personal statement is for graduate school or professional school, the Career Center offers personal statement review services as well as workshops specific to a variety of programs. Thanks for listening. Good luck and get started!